Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Our guest today is Imran Khan. He is the former Prime Minister of Pakistan and he is the chairman of the opposition PTI party. He joins us from his home in Lahore. Thank you very much for being with us.
Pleasure.
Your home has been under siege, if I may use the expression, from the police in the last few days. They had come to arrest you for not showing up in court in a corruption case against you. There were some clashes with your supporters, and a judge ordered the police not to take you in before this Friday on the conditions that you do appear in court. So the first obvious question is, will you appear in court in person on March 18th?
Well, I had protective bail, which is that the police could not arrest me till I appear in court on the 18th. I had agreed to appear in the court, and suddenly the police arrived in heavy contingents. I mean, it's unprecedented that in a the head of the largest political party in a country, police arrived. There were about 5,000 police and rangers. I felt as if I was some terrorist here. So they came in and they came to arrest me. Now, the point is that I had already protective bail. So why had they come to arrest me? But they didn't give any reason. And they just said that, look, we've come to take you away. So there was a clash with the supporters. There was a huge number of police. So I decided to give them an surety bond. If your lawyer gives an surety bond to the police that I will appear on the 18th in court, they couldn't have arrested me. But they refused to take the surety bond because they were determined to arrest me. And it was for the wrong reasons. It wasn't because they were worried about law. It was because they are scared of the coming elections on the 30th of April, and they wanted me in jail before that. And this is why they refused to take an surety bond. The law says if I gave them a surety bond that I would appear on court on the 18th, they couldn't have arrested me.
But are you going to court on the 18th?
Yes, of course I'm going to court on the 18th. And they knew it. And unfortunately, my house was a battle zone. There were tear gas shells all over this place. In our rooms, we couldn't breathe because of the amount of tear gas. And then they used rubber bullets and bullets.
Right.
They used cartridge and they used water cannons. And so, it's never happened in Pakistan before.
Right.
I mean, no political leader has ever suffered this sort of attack.
What has never occurred in Pakistan, according to the Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif, is that a so-called political person, I quote him, is considering himself above the law. He's obviously talking about you, Imran Khan.
60% of the cabinet, including the Prime Minister, are on bail, on corruption charges, 60%. So first of all, it's rich of him talking about rule of law. He gave an affidavit to the court that his brother would come back to Pakistan after being treated. That was 4 years ago. So, I mean, let's not talk, these guys talking about law. I have always observed law in Pakistan. People in this country know me for 50 years. I'm known in this country for 50 years as a cricketer, as a captain, as the one who's done more charity work, philanthropy, built 3 hospitals, 2 universities for poor. So they know me, and head of the largest party. I have never broken the law. To date, there are 85 cases against me in the last few months on blasphemy, on sedition, on terrorism, murder. One of my workers was killed in police custody 4 days ago, tortured to death, and they blamed me for his murder. So, I mean, this is just a level of victimization going on in this country is unprecedented. Main reason is they don't want me to compete in elections. Since in the last few months, we have had 37 by-elections. My party has swept 30 of them. So they know all the opinion polls show that they're going to lose badly in the elections. And this is all not about law. It's to put me in jail so that I don't contest the elections.
Right. You blamed Shehbaz Sharif for being behind an assassination attempt against you in November. Do you think that he is directing the courts, the judges, the police to essentially take you out of the political scene. Do you really believe that, or are you exaggerating this to portray yourself as a martyr, Imran Khan?
Look, I don't have to portray myself as a martyr because already my party is by far the most popular party in Pakistan's history. I don't have to do any gimmicks. But let me just say one thing. Shehbaz Sharif, the Prime Minister, the Interior Minister, who's Rana Snaula, they have a history of extrajudicial killing. They have corruption cases against them. Both were ousted. I came into power because people were reacting against for 30 years, these people have been in power. But the real power in Pakistan lies with the establishment. And the other person who's responsible for this assassination was this intelligence officer. So therefore, the three of them I nominated in my assassination case. Now, they're still in power, and my life is under threat. The government itself says that my life is under threat. The real problem is the reason why you see these supporters outside resisting my arrest is because they are worried that if they take me into prison, my life would be in danger because they are the ones who try to kill me. Plus, there's custodial torture of my chief of staff, our Senator Azam Swati. They were taken into prison and they suffered the most humiliating torture in prison. That's why you see the fanaticism of my workers, because they are worried that once I go to jail, I'll be in the hands of the same people who are trying to kill me.
Right. Imran Khan, you've called for snap elections. The Prime Minister says no, they'll go according to schedule. If there are still tensions around you, if you're taking into custody, there are scenarios that there could be violence, and this could mean no election in the foreseeable future.
Well, Mark, let me explain. The Supreme Court has directed the election commission to hold elections on the 30th of April on two of the main provinces in Pakistan, which we were ruling. My party was in power out of the two provinces. That's 66% of Pakistan. So the constitution says that if you dissolve your assemblies, which we did, then elections have to be in 90 days. And that's what the Supreme Court has directed the Election Commission. So the elections are supposed to be held on the 30th of April. But problem is the government is running away from elections. Despite the Supreme Court ruling, the government is making excuses not to hold elections, saying we don't have enough funds or we don't have security, all sorts of reasons. But the constitution is clear. Elections have to be held in 90 days, which from the time we dissolved our assemblies is 30th of April.
Right. What about the general elections? I mean, are you concerned that they could be postponed if the turmoil continues? I mean, obviously there's all the turmoil around you and obviously all the economic turmoil.
Look, the turmoil is being caused by the government. Let me first categorically say that never has my party ever indulged in violence. In 26 years of my politics, I've always remained within the constitution, within the law. And what is now happening is that the government, because they are worried about the results of the election, because the economy has tanked, we have unprecedented inflation in our 75-year history. We have unemployment, our economy is going down. Never have the economic conditions of Pakistan been as bad. So they are worried that already my party is on a crest, but they are scared of going to public with the economic situation, especially inflation. Therefore, they don't want elections. And despite the Supreme Court nominating 30th April as the date, they're trying to run away from elections.
What happens, Imran Khan, if they decide to postpone the elections? What will you do? I mean, you've called for marches and so on, but obviously we're very close to something turning really violent in your country right now.
Look, Mark, you have right now in France the whole pension demonstrations going on. Well, that's part of democracy. I have always stayed within the limits of the Constitution, what allows us a democratic right to protest. But we have always been peaceful. Now, what happened here in outside my house is unprecedented. First, 5 days ago, they gave us permission. The police gave us permission to start our election campaign by a rally. When our people were coming in to join the rally the next morning, suddenly they cancelled it. But even before they cancelled, there were police contingents which started tear gassing and water cannon at our supporters, provoking us. I cancelled the rally. Next day, I tried to hold my election rally because the elections are announced. Again, they didn't give us permission. Again, I cancelled it. So they were trying to provoke us. And this time, they just came in these numbers when my house became a war zone. I mean, you can't imagine the police force they brought in. As I said, I felt I was a terrorist. The police, the army, Rangers are the army. Then they came in an armored car. I mean, they were as if, it was, like some war zone. So the resistance from my people is for one reason. They are scared that they're going to pick me up, put me in prison, custodial torture, and then they know that these are the same people who tried to kill me. So that's why you see such people petrified that they should not arrest me. But I'm going to court on the 18th, and whatever the court decides, I mean, I believe in rule of law, I'll follow it. If they put me in prison, it's fine. But at the moment, there are no charges to put me in prison. All they are saying is that because I didn't attend court, and I just want to explain this. I did not attend court where they brought out the warrants because the interior minister says my life in danger. The place where the court is, there have been 2 terrorist attacks there, and there have been judges and lawyers killed there. My security told me there's no way you can go there. It's a death trap. I went to High Court and told them that, look, the place is unsafe for me. The government is saying my life is in danger. So either do it on video conferencing or move the premise to another court where I'm safe. That's where. So because I didn't attend, he's brought out my arrest warrants. Anyway, I'm going on the 18th to attend court, and I've asked them to provide me security.
Imran Khan, I want to thank you very much for appearing here on France 24 from your home in Lahore, Pakistan. Thank you all for watching this edition of The Interview.